Alright, so I am back with another pretty fun and pretty decent Pauper deck. It's another tribal deck today. It's mono black zombies. So it's just using some powerful zombies and some powerful zombie synergies to hopefully win games. So this is based on a list I found online by a player called Hirata Jun. So I've been tweaking it and testing it out, and I have won some games with it against some tier 1 Pauper decks. So let's take a look. It's running 21 lands, nothing too crazy here, 18 basic swamps, then 1 Bojuka Bog. It enters the battlefield tapped, it taps for black, and it says when Bojuka Bog enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard, so a very good graveyard hate land. Then we're playing 2 copies of Barren Moor for some cycling. Okay, let's take a look at our 1-drops. First up, we have Carrion Feeder, 1 black for a 1/1. It can't block, and it has sacrifice a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder. So this sees quite a lot of play in like some sacrifice type decks. It's just a very powerful card. So here we're not super into our sacrifice synergy, but we do have some zombies that give us value when they die, like for example, our other 1-drops. Here we have Festering Mummy, 1 black for a 1/1. When Festering Mummy dies, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Then we also have Shambling Ghast, very similar, 1 black for a 1/1. When Shambling Ghast dies, choose 1. Target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn, or create a treasure token. Okay, then in terms of 2 mana zombies, we are playing 2 copies of Sultai Emissary, 2 mana for a 1/1, 1 generic, 1 black. It says when Sultai Emissary dies, manifest the top card of your library. So what that means is that you put the top card of your library onto the battlefield face down, and you treat it like a 2/2 creature. And if it's a creature, you can pay its mana cost at any time to turn it face up. So another way of generating some value when this dies. Then one of our biggest zombie payoffs, we have Shepherd of Rot, 2 mana for a 1/1, 1 generic, 1 black, and it has tap. Each player loses 1 life for each zombie on the battlefield. So this is very cool, especially when your opponents have creatures that are too big for you to attack because they could just block. So instead, you just keep building up your board of zombies and then just tapping this every turn to make you and your opponent lose life. But hopefully your opponent dies before you. Okay, then in terms of a 3-drop, we have Ghoulraiser, 3 mana for a 2/2, 1 generic, 2 black. When Ghoulraiser enters the battlefield, return a zombie at random from your graveyard to your hand. So it just helps us get some spells back. In terms of removal, we have 2 copies of Cast Down and another 2 copies of Chainer's Edict. One of the best sacrifice effects in Pauper. Mono black control decks play this a lot. It's 2 mana for a sorcery, 1 generic, 1 black. It says target player sacrifices a creature. And Chainer's Edict has flashback. Its flashback cost is 7, 5 generic, 2 black, which is very high, but Pauper games often are long and grindy, so it is surprising how often you do actually pay the flashback cost on this spell. Okay, then in terms of our mid-range and sort of major threats, we have 3 copies of Grey Merchant of Asphodel, very well-known card, 5 mana for a 2/4, 3 generic, 2 black. When Grey Merchant enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is your devotion to black. And then we have Gempalm Polluter, which is in a way our main zombie synergy. It's 6 mana for a 4/3, 5 generic, 1 black, but it also has cycling, which is the main reason we use it. Its cycling cost is 2 black, so you can discard this and draw a card. And when you cycle Gempalm Polluter, you may have target player lose 1 life for each zombie on the battlefield. So this is kind of our main kill spell. We want to build up our board of zombies and then cycle Gempalm Polluter to make our opponent lose quite a lot of life. Then we just have a few more value effects, like we're playing 2 copies of Deadly Dispute, which is one of the most popular cards in the meta right now. It's 2 mana for an instant, 1 generic, 1 black. Has an additional cost to cast Deadly Dispute, sacrifice an artifact or a creature, draw 2 cards, and create a treasure token. Then we're also running 2 copies of Sign in Blood for some card draw, 2 black mana for a sorcery, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Then finally, we are playing 4 copies of Ghoulcaller's Chant, 1 black mana for a sorcery, It says choose one, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, or return 2 target zombies from your graveyard to your hand. So obviously that has synergy with some of our sacrifice effects and our death value zombies, but it's also very cool for just getting back any valuable zombie. Like it has some synergy with Gempalm Polluter, so we can cycle Gempalm Polluter, discard it, make our opponent lose some life, then bring it back to our hand with Ghoulcaller's Chant or Ghoulraiser, and then cycle it again to make our opponent lose even more life. So there you have it. That's the deck. Just a very aggro, low mana curve zombie tribal deck with some removal. If you enjoy playing tribal decks, this is definitely one that I'd recommend because zombies do have some pretty powerful tribal synergies in Pauper. If you have any other ideas for how to make a spicy Pauper zombie deck, please let me know. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.